Welcome to Retreat Marketing 101, how to get people interested in your retreats. In this video, I'm going to share the #1 problem I see that gets in the way of people being able to market effectively their retreats. And then I'm going to share with you a whole bunch of different ideas that are going to help you do it different and better. Okay, so the problem is that most people overly focus on promoting the retreat itself rather than focusing on the outcome that the retreat provides. Let me explain. I call it sell the promise, not the production. When you focus on the production for a retreat, you're focusing on the location the retreat is at, the amenities, maybe the hotel, maybe the activities that you're going to do. Now, the problem with that is that you have to exactly nail exactly what people think that they want and need in a retreat. You know as well as I'm guessing, that people want certain things and need certain things that they don't even realize they need, right? If you're in the business of providing transformation and you love doing it through a retreat format, then you know that sometimes you need to introduce people to things that they don't even realize they're missing. And so if you focus too much on the retreat format, for example, let's say you say, all right, we're going to do paddle boarding, we're going to do yoga, we're going to do meditation, we're going to have lunch this way, blah, blah, blah. You run the risk of somebody saying, oh, you know, I don't like to meditate, so I'm going to skip that whole retreat that has all these things that they want and need. Another thing that might happen is they might say, oh, I don't like that hotel, or I don't really want to go to this place. And so you basically, when you give away too much of the production and you're focusing your retreat promotion on the production of the retreat, you're possibly missing out on clients that would be a great fit. Instead, what I invite you to consider doing is focusing on what is the value proposition of the retreat. Like, you are going to walk away more relaxed than you've ever been in your life. You are going to detox for 7 straight days, supported in a supportive environment where you're going to do physical and mental and emotional detoxing or whatever. Like, whatever the outcome is, hey, my outcome for my retreat, we're going to spend 3 days and map out a whole new business plan, whole new business model for your coaching business, right? I'm not telling them that I'm going to take them through this exercise or that exercise, or we're going to cover this exact thing. What I'm saying is, do you want this outcome? If you want this outcome, let's connect. So essentially, the reframe, right? The solution to the problem is to really focus on clarifying what is your value proposition. And once you're really clear about that value proposition, what's the outcome and who it's for, then all of these ideas that I'm going to give you are going to be so much more effective. So by the way, quick recap of who I am and why you might even want to listen to me. I've been leading retreats now for about 8 years. Before that, I was leading large events. I got burnt out. Long story short, I reorganized my business model because a coach taught me how to do it. And I simplified and I shifted my whole business model to these small, intimate, 10 to 20 person immersion events and a big back end, which is a monthly recurring mastermind group coaching program that I've been leading now for 8 years. So that's my business model. And over those years now, over the last, maybe 5 or 6 years, many of my clients have started adopting my business model. So now I not only lead my own retreats and my own big back end program, I also lead clients who are leading retreats and big back end programs. So I call it my laboratory, which is essentially I get to see what's working all across these different types of retreats. I've got people doing spiritual retreats, wellness retreats, business, marketing, chiropractic, like everything you can imagine. And I'm watching, how are they promoting it? How are they promoting it? How's that working? And I'm seeing the best practices, and I'm gathering some of those best practices to bring them to you. So the first thing I'm going to share that really works well is, instead of talking about your retreat or writing about your retreat, I invite you to consider showing what you do at the retreats. Instead of, hey, we're going to do this, or, well, you already know how I feel about that. But instead of sharing in text what the retreat is about, I recommend getting pictures and video and testimonials from people who've been to your retreats and sharing those snippets one at a time. So absolutely, I agree that it would be helpful to have a website or a brochure for your retreats. And I also think that it's very effective to drip out content that leads back to your website. So instead of trying to promote your entire retreat on a Facebook post, which I see people doing all the time, like this morning, what I invite you to do is do a snippet. Like, here's somebody talking about the big breakthrough they had at our recent retreat, and then have that snippet leading back to the website. And so I suggest doing that all over social media, on LinkedIn, on Facebook, Instagram, wherever you are active, more importantly, wherever your ideal retreat attendees are active, posting a little bit, dripping out that little thing, and then leading back to the main page where you position the value proposition and all of that. The second thing is kind of closely related to the first, which is to gather case studies from your retreats, from your small events. So instead of getting a testimonial, which a testimonial is like, hey, this was a really great retreat. I really enjoyed the paddle boarding and the yoga and the meditation and all that. Okay, great. Much more effective is actually to capture a case study, right? I don't even use testimonials anymore since I discovered this. A case study is way more effective. What a case study looks like and how it's different than a testimonial. A case study looks like, hey, when I came into this retreat, I was struggling with this thing or with these things. Through the course of the retreat, this is what we did. This is the breakthrough I had. This is the result or the outcome of that breakthrough. And this is the possibility that's now available to me as a result. So, hey, I came into this retreat. This is for somebody maybe from my retreat. I was struggling with my business model, how to monetize my magic, how to monetize my thought leadership. I came in, we mapped out a whole new business model, we priced out new programs, we figured out a monthly recurring model. Michelle helped me figure out a 90-day action plan, and all the people at the retreat, helped me out. Now I'm really clear about what I'm up to. Here's what I'm doing. And I'm so excited about where this is leading. I'm going to do my first retreat in 2 months, right? So that's a case study, which is way, way, way more compelling than a testimonial. So I recommend gathering case studies from your clients and using those to promote your retreat instead. Hey, by the way, before I dive even deeper into this content, I want to take a moment to invite you to subscribe to my channel, like this video, and shoot me a comment below. The third thing I don't think you're going to be surprised by, because I talk about it in a lot of my videos, is energy precedes outcomes. Energy precedes outcomes. I say it all the time, and it's based on the learning from one of my spiritual mentors, Nani Leah Diamond, who I talk about a lot. She says the energy from which you create guides and determines the energy of what you create. In other words, if we are creating a retreat from the energy of scarcity, like, I've got to fill this thing. If I don't get enough deposits, I'm not going to be able to afford it. What happens if not enough people sign up? What will people think if there's only 3 people there? All that stuff that kind of clutters our brains, that can really block our ability to attract and enroll our ideal clients. And so one thing you're really going to want to take responsibility for and actively cultivate is the energy from which you are promoting this retreat, the energy from which you're writing the copy, the energy from which you're creating the website, the energy from which you're sitting on an airplane, right? Meaning, like, do you talk about it? Are you sharing it? Are you bubbling over with enthusiasm such that anyone within 6 feet of you is hearing about your incredible work? Or are you worried that people are going to judge it or not like it? Are you keeping it to yourself? Are you your own best kept secret? What's the energy that's around this promotion? What's the energy around your marketing for your retreat? Sounds obvious, but I can't tell you how many times I've got somebody like, oh, I'm struggling to market my retreat. I'm like, cool. Are you talking about it every single day? Well, no, I put a Facebook post out, or, I told a friend about it. It's like, you need to be bubbling over with enthusiasm. And that can mean a lot of different things need to happen. Number one, you might need to just feel enthusiastic about it. Or number two, there may be something in the way of, like, fear of being judged, being ridiculed, fear of exposure, whatever it is, right? Like, really diving into what's the emotional aspect of your promotion. How do you feel about the retreat? How do you feel about marketing and promoting it? And then the last one is don't over-design or over-engineer your retreat. What I find is that a lot of times people who need to figure out every detail, who need to have it all organized and mapped out, can really shoot themselves in the foot with these retreat programs. Like, I'm a big believer and I love to have things organized and mapped out. I think you can tell that by how I structure my content and my channel and all that. And I invite you to take it a little bit lighter, to take a lighter touch on your retreats and allow yourself to share the big outcome, the big picture. Hey, come and rejuvenate. Come and redesign your business. Come and redesign your health or your spine or whatever it is. And leave a little bit of it more open such that the people that are drawn to that promise can tell you what they need, and there's room in your retreat to incorporate it, because that's going to make a much better experience for them. Here's a quick example. When I started doing my retreats 8 years ago, I had a really clear idea of what I was going to do. I had it all mapped out. I was all organized because that's how I roll. But in it's one in particular that I remember of the conversations that I had for enrollment into the retreat, one of the people said, hey, are we going to talk about pricing? Now, I had not put pricing into my map, but I was like, oh, that's a really good idea. I should talk about pricing. That would be really good to include that. So of course I said to her, of course, we're absolutely going to do pricing, as I was writing it down in my notes, like, oh, add pricing, right? That was really beneficial. That actually helped to create my retreat and make it much more aligned, much more focused on the people that were there. Instead of over-engineering it, over-producing it, over-designing it so that it's all perfect, give yourself a little room for magic and allow yourself to listen deeply to the people that you want to work with that are being attracted, and maybe even redesign the program so that it's even more aligned for them. By the way, if you are looking to market, promote, enroll in your retreat and you're looking for support, I can help. Check out superstarbusinessbreakthrough.com. That is my foundational program where I personally help you do this work. Look forward to connecting with you, superstarbusinessbreakthrough.com.